Well, hi, everybody, and welcome to session 4 of music theory for pluck string players, pickers and pluckers. So today we're going to look at session 4, tension and release, 1, 4, 5, the 3 pillars of harmony. We're going to start with a chord review, the chords in a key. To begin, we review the chord qualities we derive by thirds on every step of a key. Analyzing our generated chords in the key of G major, we find these triads and qualities. The 1 chord is a major, G major. The 2 chord is A minor, it's a minor chord. 3 chord is B minor. The 4 chord is C major. The 5 or 5/7 is D major. The 6 is E minor. And the 7 is a diminished, F sharp diminished. Now, these qualities hold true for every major key, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and back around to G. So every key has these same chord qualities. The Roman numeral notation will be useful when we start looking at chord progressions. The basic idea of classic Western art is the idea of tension and release. In classic common practice art, the idea of tension and release leads an artist to designate an area of a piece at rest, works to some kind of climax, then releases the tension back to the place of rest. Many times there are 2 or more areas of tension of different or differing intensity depending on the goals of the artist in a particular piece. A place of tension may occur suddenly or be built up too slowly. Conversely, the tension may be released quickly or a quick release denied and the tension dissipates slowly. We will analyze how the basic triads and dominant 7th chord are used to generate tension and release in folk music and popular song. Jazz uses the same ideas, but uses more complex chord forms. So let's head over here. As we look at our chords in the key chart, I will identify the 3 important areas of rest and tension. The 1 G major is named the tonic. This is the key note. It's the place of rest in a key. It's what your ear hears first. The 4, named the subdominant, is a place of intermediate tension, subdominant being just below the dominant. 5, D major, is named the dominant, is the place of most tension in a key. So we have the place of rest, a place of intermediate tension on the 4, and a place of most tension on the 5. Okay, so the 1 chord is a place of rest in the key. As the tonic, it is based on the key note or the root of the key. All of the tension in the chord changes lead away from 1 and then back to 1 in a key. It is possible to use 1 as the only chord throughout the piece and generate tension and release melodically. Let's consider this shout piece, Pretty Polly. Make that a little smaller so we can see the whole thing on the screen. All right, so now Pretty Polly uses the G chord throughout. Now I got this from the Parking Lot Pickers fake book or songbook, whatever that thing is called. They put a D right here, but these notes are not contained in a D chord. I think they put a D chord there to tickle the sensibility of bluegrass players who may feel that they need a 5 chord to resolve to 1. But in this case, if we're playing it in the old traditional way, all of the interest in the melody is from these blues notes here. In the key of G, you don't have a B flat, but in the blues way, we flat that note, and then we also flat the F sharp. Let me get my banjo picks on here, and we'll take a listen to this. You all can play along, just strumming out a G chord, either strum out the G chord or you can do bass strum. But here we go, this is G, and then instead of a B, you get a B flat, and instead of an F sharp, you get an F natural. So, and that gives us the blues feel of this thing. So, all right, here we go. I'm gonna play this. 1, 2, 3. Oh, Polly, pretty Polly, would you take me unkind? My Polly, pretty Polly, would you take me unkind for me to sit beside you and tell you my mind? So you see there's no 5-chord at the end. It's all done with this blues inflection there. So that's a tune that can be played with simply a 1-chord. At no time does the harmony veer away from the G or tonic or root, and the tension is all supplied by using those blue notes to supply tension in the melody. The 5-chord holds the most tension in the key. The 5/7 chord knocks the tension up a notch with the introduction of the 7th in the chord. The reason that the 5/7 is so tense is that every note in the chord has a pullback towards the note of the 1 chord. The basic work of traditional Western musician is to control the tension between 5 and 1. Let's play this, sing the root as you play and hear it move. So we have a G chord in 1, a D chord for 5, and a G is 1. Let me just play the notes first. So here's G, 1, and here's the 5, 5, 1. Again, 1, 5, 1. And if we strum out the chord, here's the 1 chord, G, 1. And now we go 5, and everything in that chord wants to resolve back to 1. We can't just leave it hanging there, right? So we get 1, 5, 1. So let's do it together. Ready? Here we go. 1, 5. Feel the tension. Now release. 1. Again. 1, 5, 1. So notice how the G chord establishes the sound of G here as the tonic or place of rest in your ear. When you move to 5, there's a tension established relative to 1. And it felt like you just cannot leave the piece hanging there, but everything feels like it should come crashing back down to, I feel much better now. Okay, so now let's play it with the 5/7. So here we add a C to the D chord. So D, F sharp, A, C, so that's your D7. Okay, so here it is again. Here's your 1, 5, 1. So let's play G, D7, G. Ready? G, D7, G. Again, G, D7, G. This pairing of 5 to 1 is what actually establishes a key or a key center. As we play the pieces in the following exercise, you'll notice that with the exception of the blues tune, that the 5/1 cadence, the ending formula, is nearly always found at the end of the piece. And in fact, this is how one usually confirms what key a piece is in. The 5/1 movement is called a progression. The word progression in music theory means a series of chords with a tendency to resolve towards 1. This term is confusing because progression in pop and folk also refers to any bunch of chords in a pattern, whether they resolve or not. I will use the term in this session to refer to the tendency of chords to progress or to resolve to 1. Record on this computer. And then I'll put the first part on in Premiere. Okay, back to screen share. I knew I would get excited and forget to record that. Okay, so now we're going to do this with the 5/7. So everybody just play a D. Now play D7. And you hear how that note adds the tension. Again, D, and then back to D7. Good. Okay, so now we're going to play G, D7, G. So it's D, G, D7, G. Here we go. Together, G. Now D7, and then back to G. Feel that? The tension between rest, 1, the tense place, D7, and then back to G. All right, let's do that again. G, G, D7, and G. Okay, any questions? So what I'm about to say next is really important. The pairing of 5 to 1 is what actually establishes a key or a key center. Without that, we're really not sure that we're in a key. You know, as back in Pretty Polly, well, yeah, we could say G was the tonal center. But we didn't get this 5, we didn't get the 5-1 that in Western music establishes a key center. So as we play pieces in the following exercises, you will notice, with the exception of the blues tune, that the 5-1 cadence, the cadence is an ending formula, is nearly always found at the end of the piece. And in fact, this is how one usually confirms what key a piece is in. So when you see 5-1 at the end of a piece, you look at it and you go, okay, well, all right, there's the G, that's the last chord. Is there a D7 before that? Yeah, there's a D or a D7. That's a 5-1 relationship. That confirms, yes, this piece is in G major, okay? Any questions about that? And so that's how you figure out what key you're in. You look at the key signature, but you look at the last chord and the last cadence and see if you can find a 5-1 relationship. All right, so now we're going to play a song that deals only with 1 and 5. We're going to change keys. We'll change keys throughout this session today. We're going to play Down in the Valley, and we'll play this in the key of D. So everybody just play a D chord. Wow, it's amazing. After having played in the key of G, now we just play a D chord, and all of a sudden our brains have been reset to the tonal area of D. We now feel like this note is home. All right, so D is 1. So, and then 5 notes of the scale, D, E, F sharp, G, A. A is 5. D, A, D. So A7 is 5-7, right? So let's just play D. Let's play A7, 5. And then back to D is 1. Everybody get that? And I know you all know these chords, but I'm wanting you to listen to 1, 5, 1, and really hear that relationship. Let's do D, A7, D again. Ready? Go. D, A7, D. Everybody got that? Okay, so here's what's happening with this tune. I did a little analysis for us. It seems like a simple tune, but the D chord puts 1 at the place of rest here for the whole first phrase until the end of the first phrase, where there is a descriptive word low that foreshadows the murderous action outlined in the lyrics in the later verses. I won't go through this, but you know, it's a murder ballad. So this whole first phrase, down in the valley, valley so low. And then the second phrase, stays in A7, remains in 5, as the idea of regret is expressed until the last word blow, which I suppose could be interpreted as a release from the tension, the hanging of the head, a cold comfort, perhaps. All right, down in the valley. So here's one, down in the valley, valley so low, hang your head over, hear the wind blow. So we go from 1 to 5/7 for the first phrase. The second phrase goes 5/7 back to 1. Should we try it together? And just really listen for the tension as it switches from rest to tension and back to rest. In 3/4, 1, 2, 3. Down in the valley so low, hang your head over, hear the wind, back to 1, blow. 1-5-1. But I'd like to do that again because I really want to get this in your ear, because as we get more complex, you need to hear that 5 area, and as things move towards it, and then as it resolves to 1. Here we go again. D, A, D. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Down in the valley so low, hang your head over, hear the wind blow. Okay, and that we hear this firmly in D major because you get this A7 at the end, and it just, everything resolves from here. Tension to 5/7 to 1. Any questions about that? This is it. This is the reduction of the entire history and theory of Western music in one piece. Everything else is frosting. Okay, we move on. So the 4 chord is a place of intermediate tension. The resolution back to 1 is a little softer and less frantic than the 5 chord. I often hear it as the Protestant amen. You know, if you went to the Protestant church and heard and sang your hymns, you'd always hear this 1, 4, 1, amen. So here's the root. The root is G, G, C, G. That's 4. 5 was here. Dum, dum, G, C, G. Let's play the chords together. So we get G, C, G. 4 resolves back to 1, but it's the and it's a little softer. Again, let's play G, C, G. G, C, G. Hear the difference between that and this? That's 1-5-1, 1-4-1. Any questions? Now we're going to play a tune called Cotton Eye Joe, which only uses 1 and 4. It starts with the tonic and the G chord. right there. And at the end of the first two phrases, the harmony moves to C, the 4 chord, which seems to make the music hang in the air and beg for forward movement, but it doesn't give us the feeling that it must have some sort of final resolution of 1. It's just a way of kind of moving the music forward. The last phrase has no 5/1 cadence. Also notice that the melody is written here ends on the 5th degree of G, the note D, so it feels like it should move on and back around for the next verse rather than remain in G. And I sketched a G in here just to end it at the end of the piece. All right, so here's Cotton Eye Joe. Here's 1. So 1. And then we have, goes to 4 on You Don't Know. Don't you remember, don't you know, that's your 4. Yeah. Then back to 1. Daddy worked a man called Cotton Eye. Back to 4, then 1. Daddy worked a man called Cotton Eye Joe. There's no D7 in there to make us think that there's a D7 resolution. So there's no strong resolution in there. So let's play this together. Let me get a mandolin. I just feel like playing the mandolin for this one. Willow, would you like to come in? May. And again, you can play this bass drum if you want, or just single strums, and I'll take it fairly slowly. About 1, 2, 3, 4. Won't you remember, don't to see G, Daddy worked a man called Cotton to see G. And that's the tune. All right, let's do it again. 1, 2, ready, play. 1 chord, 1, 1, 4. Back to 1. Back to 4, G. Again. Don't you remember, don't you see, no, Daddy worked a man called Cotton Eye Joe. Daddy worked a man called Cotton Eye Joe. And it sounds like there's no resolution there at the end, which, you know, that's okay. It's folk music. There doesn't have to be a resolution. And you know, the way this goes on, there's just verse after verse. And I suppose sitting around the fire, you can make up your own verses as it goes along. Any questions so far about 1, 4, and 5 and how they feel in terms of resolution? No questions. Okay, we're going to move on. So here I say 1, 4, and 5 or 5, 7 are the foundation of the bulk of songs in our Western tradition. The interplay between the various tension of these chords gives songsmiths so much musical energy to work with that our culture never seems to tire of this way of music making. Indeed, each new generation seems to find subtle ways to use these 3 chords, these materials, to craft their own take on writing music. So first, we're going to look at a song that replicates the 2 progressions we have studied so far. Our first song links together 1, 4, 1, and 1, 5, 1. Get my guitar again. All right. So, Woody Guthrie tune. This land is your land. Fit right there, it does. All right, so how does this work? So we get this land is, so at first it goes 1, this land is for your land, this land is my land. So that's a 1, 4, 1, right? 1, 4, 1. Now we get 1, 5, 1 from California back to the New York, back to 1, right? And then what do we get? We get another 1, 4, 1 from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. No words here, but still it's a 1, 5, 1. This land was made for you and me. Okay, so what is Guthrie doing here? So he gives us a small climax or a small area of tension, and then he gives us a large area of tension. So if we drew a line, it's like at rest, small hump, at rest, large hump, does that twice. And that's the tension pattern for this piece of artwork. Small hump, large hump. So this land is your land, this land is my land, from California to the New York Island, place of rest, small hump, redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters, and no line here. So when you come on this 5 chord, it's an outburst of tension without any buildup in the text. This land was made for you and me. All right, let's play it and really just listen. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. This land is your land. That's the 4 chord. This land is my 1 chord land. From California, 5 chord, yeah, to the New York G1 chord island. From the redwood 4 chord est to the Gulf Stream 1 chord water. 5, this land was made for you and me. Yeah. So you can see this is a very simple song. It's just made out of the 2 basic chord progressions that we have so far. Any questions? Let's move on and see what else we can do with 1, 4, and 5. When the composer wants to delay the movement from 1 to 5, often the 4 chord is used, so the harmony goes up by step from the place of rest to intermediate tension to the place of most tension. So the progression would be 1 going to 4, going to 5 to 1. Instead of back here, we went 1, 5, 1. Now we're going to go 1, 4, and instead of going back to 1 before we go to 5, we're going to 5. We have 1, step up further, and then back to 1. Can we play that? 1. So we get G, and then we play C, and then we get D7, and then we get G. Again, that would be 1, G, 4 is C, 5 is D, and 1 is G. Let's see how it went. Step up, higher, more tension, and then release. So we're going to look at this common progression in the verse structure of Your Cheatin' Heart. So what does your eye tell you that the key or tonic is? Anybody?
The C is the
it's the C. I mean, you can see it right here. There's C, yeah. And then there's the 5 chord. C is 1, G is 5, F is 4, right? And then another little hint is that you had a G7, And that 7 only happens on the 5th degree of a scale. So right off the bat, you had 5, 7, 1 in C for the intro. All right. So let's go back in, because we're going to play this Cheatin' Heart in C. Let's go back and play 1, 4, 5 in C major. Okay. So we get C. Go ahead and play C. All right. Oh, Al, I need to mute you. Oh, got it. Okay. Okay, so 1 is C. 4 then would be F, C, D, E, F, right? F. And G is 5. And back to 1 is C. So that would sound like 1, 4, 5, 1, or C, F, G, C is what your ear is hearing. C, F, G, C. Okay, so we're going to play this, and let me think. So 2 measures for each, 2 measures of 4 for each chord change, right? So we'll start on G7, 2 measures of G7. I'm just going bass, pluck, because that's what we do in country, right? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, bass, G7, C. That's our intro. Here we go. Your cheating heart will make you F weep. That's your 4 chord. You cry and cry. That's your 5 chord. And it comes back down to 1 and try to sleep. But sleep won't come. Now we're going to go to 4 the whole night through. You're cheating on a 5 heart. We'll tell on you. Okay, and we're going to save the chorus for a little bit later because something else interesting happens in the chorus. All right, everybody understand that? 1, 4, 5, 1. 1, 4, 5, 1. And so we get C, the step up to F, up to the high tension, release. Does that make sense?
Can I just make a comment on this?
Yes.
What I'm trying to do, and it's kind of happening, is I'm trying to experience emotionally what happens as we change these chords and what the words of particular songs are saying.
Absolutely.
And actually what my sense is, for me anyway, they really are in sync.
They really are, because your best songwriters will do that. Your cheating heart, that's at rest, right, will make you weep. Intermediate tension, you'll cry and cry. More tension, yeah, and try to sleep.
Yeah, I mean, there really is an emotional movement, at least for me, in the sound, the acoustic sound.
And that's the whole idea, is that the composer is trying to tweak your emotions with these chord changes and with the lyrics, and match them up so that they come at important places. So you save your dominant chord for the important word. Cry and cry through your cheating heart will tell on you.
Right. Yeah, it's working.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
And that's the art of songwriting. It really is. All right, so we'll look at like I said, the chorus a little bit later. Now, the next thing we're going to do is is we're going to invert what happened here. Here we delayed the move to 5 by sticking 4 between 5 and 1, correct? Now we're going to look at delaying the resolution of 5 by inserting the 4 after the 5 chord. So we get the chord sequence of, and I'll just do it in the key that we had, G, 5, F, 4, 1. The resolution lets us down a little more easily or gently from the 5 chord. So this is a tune called the Greenfield Blues by yours truly. It's a classic 12-bar blues structure. We're going to play this in E, just because, why? Because we want to do different keys in E. So I'll come back to the in a minute, but E is the 1 chord. E, F, G, A is the 4 chord, and B7 is the 5 chord. Everybody know B7 on your instrument? Okay. All right, so we're going to go back, and this is a classic 12-bar blues structure. Each chord symbol represents 1 measure. So in the blues, we have 3 lines of music for 12-bar blues, 3 lines of 4 bars each. The first line goes like this: 1, a quick nod to 4, 1, 1. Sometimes you don't even go to 4. Sometimes in these blues, you just stay in 1 right there. What this means is there's a quick little tension that doesn't stay there very long, and then it gets released. The second line always goes to 4, and it goes 4, 4, 1, 1. So that's your place of intermediate tension. So there's a long intermediate tension right there. And then the last line goes to 5 right here. So the climax is at the first measure of the last line. And then instead of going right down to 1, it goes through 4 to kind of let you down gently. It goes down to 1, and then a quick 5 is what we call a turnaround if you want to go back to the beginning, right? Because that 5-1 defines the key, and it gives you the tension to move from 1 to 5 to 1 to make it move forward. If you want to end the piece, you don't go to 5, because 5 introduces tension. You play 1 or 1-7 there. And that's what I'm doing. So blues are based on the African aesthetic of call and response. The first line is a call phrase and goes from 1 to 4. Woke up this morning, I had those Greenfield blues, right? So it goes 1, 4, 1. The second line is a repeat of the call phrase. So it has the same words, right? And it lingers in 4. So we get, woke up this morning, I had those Greenfield. Then it goes back to blues. So you only have that intermediate area. The last phrase is a response to the call phrases, and it's the climax. The 5 is placed over the beginning right here, and then it steps down to 4 to deny that quick expectation, and then to 1 here. So we get different words. Went over to the corner, I grabbed my guitar and my shoes, and then we play the 5 chord. If we want to repeat it and it doesn't let us stop, it means you have to go back to the beginning, right? So let me play it once so you can hear it. So we get, woke up this morning, I hear those Greenfield blues. And then you get the 4 chord again. Woke up this morning, I had those Greenfield blues. And it stays there. Then the climax, went over to the corner, I grabbed my guitar and my shoes. Let's play it together. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Woke up this morning, I had those Greenfield blues. 4 chord. I woke up this morning, I had those Greenfield blues. 5 chord now. I went over to the corner, 4 chord. I grabbed my guitar and my shoes. We'll play the B7 now for the turnaround. Back to the beginning. Woke up this morning, I had those Greenfield bluesy. Hey, woke up this morning, I had those Greenfield blues. B7, went over to the corner. I grabbed my guitar and my shoes, and now we play E7 here to end. Okay, did you feel that? That's how a blues tugs at your heart. It gives you all a bunch of 4 chords, and then all of a sudden gives you the 5 chord, but it lets you down easy. These are the various ways that 1, 4, and 5 are used together. Any questions? Okay, so we're going to move on, and I wanted to talk about 5/7 in a minor key. So in the minor key is the 6th mode of the major scale, and when we generate the chords in a minor scale, the Aeolian mode, this is the result. 1 is minor, it's tonic. 2 is diminished, 3 is major, 4, the subdominant, is minor, 5 is minor, 6 is major, 7 is major. So our 3 chords, important chords, 1, 4, and 5 are minor. So our 3 pillars of harmony look like this. Oh, that should have been a 4. Okay, I made a mistake there, but that should be a 4. Make a note of that. I'll correct that and send it out. All right, so let's play the 1, 5, 1 progression in A minor. So if we do that, it's A minor, E minor, A minor, okay? So everybody, so we get this, A, E, A, so that's 1, 5, 1. But listen to how this sounds when we play it with minor chords. Go, A minor, E minor, A minor. You hear that? Let's do it again. A minor, E minor, A minor. See how weak the 5 chord sounds as a dominant resolution? It doesn't have the same kind of punch as we had in major. Why? Because it is no longer a dominant 7th type chord, a major triad with another minor triad above that. So what has happened is over the ages, to turn the major 5, the minor 5 into a major 5, what we do is we sharp that 3rd degree of the scale. So here we have E, G, B for the minor chord, E, G, B. So what we do is we sharp the 3rd, and that gives us E, G sharp, B. Oh, that gives us E major. That's starting to sound like a little more like a dominant chord. Everybody understand what I did? You sharp the 3rd to get that. Al, this is the answer as to why a harmonic minor scale is, because a harmonic minor scale has that raised 3rd in there, okay? That G sharp. And that's why it has that G sharp in the scale, because we had to raise the 3rd of the 5 to get that sound. So let's play, and I'll explain that a little more, you know, when I do the modes course. So let's play this. We'll play A minor as a minor 1, E as a major 5, A minor as a minor 1. All right, here we go. A minor. Now E major. A minor. 1, 5, 1. That's starting to sound more like a meaty kind of resolution, isn't it? Now, to make this even stronger, let's add the 7th to get the dominant. So we're going to get E, G sharp, B, D. to make the E7 chord. So we're going to play A minor, E7, A minor. Ready? A minor, E7, A minor. Now we're getting somewhere. That's a very satisfying dominant. That's 1, 5. Everything in that wants to be going back to 1, 5, 1, 5, 1. Oh boy, does that feel good, huh? Much better than E minor. So that's what we do. We sharp the third and we add the seventh, and all of a sudden we have a really strong dominant situation in minor. Any questions about that? Okay, so we're going to play St. James Infirmary as an example of using the 5/7 with the sharp third in action. So here's St. James Infirmary. I made a little lead sheet for us. Let me get my other guitar because I need to finger pick this, or I want to finger pick this. So one further consideration before we play this piece is you want to notice in the third and seventh full measures the use of the 6 chord, F major. So A, B, C, D, E, F, right? That's why God gave you 5 fingers. Well, 5 on each hand, so you can count up your theory. All right. So F is the 6 chord. So what's that 6 chord doing in there? In this case, in this minor key environment, placing the 6 chord right before the 5/7 makes it seem like the harmony moves up a half step above 5 and then comes down to 5 and then goes to 1. It's almost like by playing F, we went too high. We went past the dominant chord, and it's like, wow, is that really tense? Because not only did we go to 5, but we went to 6. We went 1 more. Then we came crashing down to 5 and then to 1. And so often we will highlight the 5 area by putting some chord before it that highlights that. That's what the F is doing there, right? It just didn't fall out of the sky. It's there to accent that 5/7. So what I'd like to do is let's play A minor, and then we're going to play F, and it's going to come down to E7. Oh man, did you hear that? Tense, still tense, and then we go to A minor. Isn't that cool? Isn't that great? So again, it's A minor, then you go to the 6th. High, it's almost too high, and then it's coming down to E7, which is still high, and then back. So you hear that? Na, 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 right? And so that's what that F chord is doing there. It's highlighting 5. It's making that 5 seem even more tense. All right, so here we go. We're going to play St. James Infirmary. It's going to be about like 1, 2, 3. It was down at old Joe's bar room in the corner by the square. He was pouring drinks as usual, and the usual crowd was there. So this little A minor G, what I'm doing there is that means play a G in the bass, and it's a way of walking down from A to G to F. It's just making that bass walk down to F. You don't have to play that. It's just Michael's little fancy arranging because I like to finger pick this. Let's play it again, and I'll call out the harmonies as we go by. So we get 1, 5, 1, 6, 5, 1, 5, 1, 6, 5, 1. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 5, 1. 1, now to the 6, 5. Wow, isn't that satisfying? Back to 1, 5, 1. Walk it down. Now to 6, 5, 1. Okay, any questions about that? And I know I'm going pretty fast here. We're going to run out of time, or maybe I'll just run over if you're not in a hurry to get to Biden's speech or whatever. So, all right. So another way of highlighting the 5 area is what we call 5 of 5. Let me put this guitar down and get another guitar. This technique, which we find in, I don't know, we find it all in all kinds of music. Another way of highlighting the dominant chord area is to precede the 5 chord with its own 5 or 5/7, so that you get this double step down, okay? And what we're gonna do is we're gonna come back to that Hank Williams tune, Your Cheating Heart, and we're back in C major for this. So the first thing we wanna do is we wanna listen to how this works. So you're gonna play C, here's C, that's 1. And then the 5 of C is G. And then we're going to precede that with the 5 of G, which is D7, right? So you get, we'll play D7 like this, D7. That resolves down 5 steps to G, which resolves 5 steps down to C. So it kind of sounds like this. D, G, C, D, G, C, right? 5 of 5, 5, 1. So it's like this double dominant resolution of 2 5 chords crashing down one right after the other. All right, everybody understand that? So the 5/5 is a common feature of country and bluegrass tunes. So here's Your Cheating Heart. Here's the verse that we played before. So we had 1, 4, 5, 1, 1, 4, 5, 1. Then the chorus here goes 1, 4, 1. And then you have that D7 chord. It seems like it comes out of nowhere. It's like, wow, what's that doing in there? And then that's the 5 of 5. It comes crashing down to G, which is the 5. And then down to C, which is the 1. And then it goes 4, 5, 1 again. All right. So I'm going to start. Your cheating heart will tell on. Your cheating heart tell on you. Then we go to F. When tears come down, that's 4, like falling sea rain. Now the 5 of 5, you'll toss around. Now the 5 and call my name. Yo, down to 1, walk the floor. Goes to 5 the way I do. Now to 5, your cheating heart will tell on you. Everybody understand what happened there? So that little 5 of 5 area is a really common thing to happen in country music, folk, and bluegrass. Any questions about that? Good. I'm going to move along because we're going to run out of time. So we expand this 5 of 5 idea out by extending out the number of dominant 7s in a row. Because 5/7 always resolves down by 5, this technique is called a cycle of fifths or cycling the fifths. So we compose these relationships by working backwards from the tonic. So the stack of 5/7 is always resolving downward towards the tonic. So here's our target, is G. All right, so that's G. The 5 of G is D7. The 5 of D7 is A7. The 5 of A7 is E7. So now working this way, then we get a stack of fifths that all resolve downward. E resolves down to A, resolves down to D, resolves down to G, right? Da, da, dum, da. So let's play E7. That's going to resolve to A7, resolves to D7, resolves to G. Isn't that so cool? Let's try that again. E7 resolves down to A7, resolves down to D7, resolves down to G. Now, here's a famous traditional tune called Don't Let Your Deal Go Down. Everybody know that? Oh, I got to make it a little smaller so you can see it. Not that small. There we go. Doc Watson played this. Tony Rice played this. All right. And so what it does, whoops. What it does, here it is. It's E7, A7, D7, G. So 5, down to 5, down to 5, down to 1. And then he does it again. E7, A7, D7, G. And again, E7. You get the idea. The whole piece is just that one progression. So let's play it together. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm sorry, let's do that again. 1, 2, 3. I've been all around this A7 whole wide world. D7 done most everything. E7 playing. A7, D7, G. Well, don't let your deal go down. D7, don't let your deal go down. E7, don't let your deal go down till the last dollar is gone. And then we'll see more examples of this as we look at other tunes. Any questions about that?
I might say 5/2 does the same thing.
It does. It's a very common thing to do. 5'2", eyes are blue, da 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 da. Right. Exactly. All right, so we're going to move on. And I want to talk a little bit about the minor chords that we use. So if you don't mind, we'll run over and talk about 2 and 6. Minor chords in a key will progress, that is resolved towards 1 according to the idea of resolution down by a fifth. That is the root moving down by a fifth. So the key, in the key of G, the 2 chord is A minor, right? The root of A minor is a fifth higher than the 5/7 chord or D7, A, D. And that means if the root moves down a fifth, it sounds very natural for our ear for A to resolve down to D7, which then resolves down to G. It's all based on this idea of fifths coming crashing down. So we get, well, let's play this. We get G, that's 1, A minor, D7, that's 5, and G. All right, so G again, A minor, D7, G. So we're going to play Will There Be Any Stars in My Crown? The verse is a series of 1, 2, 5, 7 progressions in G. And then the chorus goes 1, 5, 7, 1, 1, 4, 1, 1, 5, 7, 1. So we'll look at that. Oh, boy, that's too small for me to even read the verses. So I may just play it. All right, so here's 1, G, 2, A minor, 5, 7, 1. So 1, 2 is the A minor, 5, 7, 1. And then we get 1 for a whole lot of time, and then D7. So there's our 1, 5, 1, G, 4, 1, 5, 1. Okay, that's how we analyze this. So let's play this together. I'll try to sing and play as best I can. And sight read this. 1, 2, 3. I am thinking today of that beautiful land. A minor I shall reach when the D7 going down. When through wonderful grace my Savior I A minor stand. Will there be any stars in my crown? Now we're into 1, 4, 5. Will there be any stars in my crown? When at evening the sun going down, when I wake with the best in God's mansion of rest, will there be any stars in my crown? There you go. So there you get a tune that has 1, 2, 5, 1. In a lot of tunes in jazz have this 2, 5, 1 area that we use. And if you don't mind, I will do one more here that is very important. The 6 chord, the root, the 6 chord is a fifth higher than the 2 chord. So it progresses to 2, which progresses to 5, progressing to 1. So we get A, well, I'll do it here. A goes to D, goes to G, to C. Down a 5, down 5, down 5. So the idea is we'll play this C, play C, play A minor, that's your 6, 2 is D minor, 5 is G, and 1. All right, a little faster. It's you maybe recognize this as a common progression in late 1950s, early 60s rock and doo-wop. So we're going to play Sherry as recorded by the Four Seasons. Okay, this is our 1, 2, 1, 6, 2, 5, 1 progression. And then the chorus is a cycle of fifths. So let's look at this thing here, and I'll show you what's happening. So we get 1, 6, 2, 5, 1 over and over again for the whole chorus. So it goes, and I'm not going to sing it in falsetto because I just can't get up there anymore. Sherry, baby, C, A minor, D minor, G. That's how we're going to do it, right? So one little interesting side note at the end, you have E flat, F, C. So that E flat, you always have to look at if there's a strange chord, where is it going? Oh, it's a half step. It's a half step above F, which is what? F is our 4 chord. So it's highlighting the 4 chord in the same way. Remember back in St. James Infirmary, that F chord highlighted the E7, the 5 chord. Here we're highlighting the 4 chord. So it's a little turnaround that just goes, come out tonight, and E flat, F, C. That's it, E flat, F, C. All right. And then when we go to the chorus, it's the cycle of fifths. Look, here's C is 1, right? So G, G7, that's the 5 of C. D is the 5 of G. A is the 5 of D. E is the 5 of A. So in the chorus, we get, why don't you come out to my twist party? Come out where the moon shines. Come out, we'll dance the night away. I'm gonna make you mine. We're back to C. And that's our tune. You want to take a minute and play it as best we can? It'll be fun. Here we go. I'm not going to do the intro just to save time. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. C, A minor. Sherry, baby, sherry. Sherry, baby, sherry. Sherry, baby, sherry, can you come out tonight? Come out tonight. Sherry, baby. Sherry, baby, sherry, can you come out tonight? Now E flat, F, C, why don't you come out to my twist party? Well, come out where the bright moon shines. D, come out, we'll dance the night away. G, I'm gonna make you G7 mine. We're back to the chorus. Sherry, baby. A sherry, baby, sherry. D minor, why don't you come out tonight? And I'm just gonna stop there. And I have some other little notes here. The 3 chord is 5th higher than the 6 chord. So 3 tends to go to 6, tends to go to 2, goes to 5, goes to 1. I couldn't find any songs that use the whole progression here, but I know that this 3, 6, 2, 5, 1 is often used as a turnaround. So at the end of a piece. So if we want to just play one strum on right here, E minor, A minor, D minor, G, C, so you can all hear that. Ready? E minor, A minor, D minor, G, C. Let's do that again. Ready? E minor. 3, 6, 2, 5, 1. And then the only other chord that we have is the 7th chord. I have a note here too. Sometimes 3 moves to 2 without going through 6 sometimes in songs. The other note that we have is the 7th diminished, but that's a little more complex. We don't usually use that as a triad. We use it as a 7th, and that's beyond what we're talking about in this course. So what we talked about today was 1, 4, and 5, the various levels, and then how those various levels were controlled by the other chords. And over the course of the class, what we talked about were these 3 levels of music theory: the chromatic scale in that environment, and how the sharps, flats, and naturals affected, or functions that affected single notes, major, minor scales, modes, how those were derived, and how the sharps and flats are used to generate key signatures, and they don't change. Although if you want to change a note, like we changed the 3rd of a chord, we use the chromatic scale to that sharp. Chords are derived from the minor scales by formula, and the chords can be altered by chromatics. And then the keys are what determined by what note a scale is started on. And we have this idea of the vertical and the horizontal. The scales are the horizontal, the chords are the vertical. And that's what we talked about today, is how the vertical structures move from one place to another and resolve. And that's the end of Music Theory 101 for pluckers and pickers. And do you have any questions or comments or observations?
Oh, very good. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I know I gave you a lot today, but you have these things to work through and play and listen to how these chords resolve and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is helpful.
Great. Well, what I'll do is I'll send out I've got some corrections here, and then I'll put the video up, and then what I'd like to do is send around a little, I don't know, evaluation form, since I'm getting going on these and really targeting these to people like yourselves who want to be exposed to theory. So I'd be interested in hearing any kind of feedback that you have.
Could you put all 4 lessons in one PDF?
Oh yeah, that's really easy to do. I could do that.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's good. It's very helpful. It digs a lot deeper than some of these things I was familiar with, and especially these various chord progressions that I hear them referred to, but they just go right over my head.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to get at. It's like people like yourselves who have not been through a college theory course, or maybe went through a college theory course 30, 40 years ago. Right. but it was all piano centric. You know, how can I get something into your hands that's useful for you in terms of analyzing a tune and understanding how it works? Or some of you I know are songwriters and can use these tools to highlight lyrics in a more fundamentally artistic and sound way.
Yeah, my early training was on a violin, and classical training, and chords was something never talked about.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. People who play melodic instruments don't deal with chords, and so a lot of music theory, or how they deal with playing chords and melody, are lost to them.
Yeah. So
in my experience, it was just the opposite. I started out being taught chords, and it made no sense to me. This has been very helpful in laying out that horizontal line. And what I've discovered is that when I shifted to the cello, it made a lot of sense to me.
Yes.
I'm playing chords, it's playing single notes and playing a scale.
Yes.
And so now I get a chance to put this together, which I'm very grateful for.
Oh, and that's great. And you might try, I don't know if you've experimented with finger style, like trying to harmonize a little line with bass notes or chords. You know, you might try that as a little exercise in arranging for your instrument between melody and chords.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, that's what you heard me doing today. I was improvising the melody and chords behind, or at least trying to. So
yeah.
You know, it makes it sound very full on this type of instrument.
Yeah, I aspire to this.
Yeah. Oh, it's great. It's a whole lot of fun. Yeah. Okay. So I'll do that. I'll pull together the all 4 of these. And it's, you know, I think this is going to be like the basis of a book between this and the mode course because I'd like to have this as non-classically oriented, but have all of this available to, you know, people who do go to the fiddle fests or the banjo fests and all of that, and are trying to figure all this stuff out. So.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me know when about the mode course. I might be interested to pursue that. So
okay, great. Yeah, I'll send something around in the next couple of days about that. It'll probably be Saturday or Sunday, because I've got things to do tomorrow, and then Saturday I'll have time to worry about this video and muck with PDFs. So great. Well, thank you all. I've really enjoyed working with you. It's been a lot of fun for me too. It's just I don't know, it's really energized me to take theory and think about it this way. So
good.
Yeah.
All right.
Great. Good. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Welcome.
you very much.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.